Good evening, it's January the 31st, 2014, and this is We Save People Not Banks at one of the libraries in Luton that is set to close. We've been down here today with one of the campaigners, Doreen Steinberg, who's had basically led a one-woman crusade against the closure of the Luton libraries. There's three up for closure, one in Wigmore, another one over in Sundon Park, and the mobile library centre.
It's the council's responsibility to give us a library. They are a disgrace. Make the trust accountable.
Make the trust accountable. Make the trust accountable.
Make the trust accountable. Make the trust accountable. Make the trust accountable. Make the trust accountable.
The council said they went through a lengthy consultation process for 3 months. The consultation process is like any consultation process. Basically, they give you the framework from which they want you to answer the questions from, without actually giving you any real choice on giving them the option that you want to give. So, for example, the 3 or 4 options that they had all involved library closures, just different scales. The public that did respond said they didn't want any closures at all and suggested the council go back to the drawing board and come back with another answer. However, it's not the council that have been leading this charge, it's been the Luton Council Trust, which is a charitable firm that's been set up and has been tasked with running some of the different community structures in the area. So I believe they operate some museums, parks, and crucially the libraries. Now this firm gets money from an airport, the Luton Airport, and that money is supposed to be used to keep things running, to stop things like this happening. Well, what's happened is that the public that have been trying to get access to the accounts to see what's happened to the money found that there's no traceable accounts. And basically, because it's not the council, they're saying that they're not liable for the freedom of information requests, so that they can go and see what the trust has actually done with the money.
Maggie Appleton, CEO of the Trust, described a petition of 10,000 as just signatures, and she calls that democracy. Maggie Appleton is as sad as we are, she told us the other day. 3 years at university, and that's her best description. She's sad. We're not sad, we're furious. What is your name?
The libraries are closing as of tonight, 6 o'clock. The doors are shut for the last time. One elderly gentleman who spoke to me earlier on, 93, his wife died over a year ago. He's been coming here every day as part of his social interaction, really. He comes here, speaks to the ladies and the gents that work here, reads a newspaper, sits down, reads a book. It's part of his daily routine, his life, to keep him, it helps him keep him young. He's 93, he's got difficulties walking. He comes here for social interaction, and basically him and along with all the children that come here after school and wait for their parents to pick them up have just been thrown on the scrap heap.
They're discriminating against the poor, the unemployed, people without internet access.
I like the piece you said that Maggie used her local library, and she's denying the children of Luton the same privileges.
Maggie Appleton, CEO of the Trust, told us that she's the first in her family to go to a university, and she credited her 2 visits a week to the local library, and yet she'll deny other children, you think. It is a disgrace.
Now, a lot of people within the council are laying the blame at the Tory government, saying that it's the 48% reduction in budget that has led to the council having to make the choice to allow the trust to close the libraries. They're now saying they're going to concentrate on protecting the other services that we have rather than doing anything about trying to save the libraries that we've got, claiming that there's still 80% of the town still has access to a library as the crow flies. Well, people that are old, infirm, disabled, people with young families don't have the luxury.
Democracy is hypocrisy.
Democracy is hypocrisy.
Getting cuts all the time, they shouldn't have any cuts as well. We love the police.
Easy.
And the fire brigade.
Can you say the same to the tax office, please?
It's the council's statutory duty to provide us with a library of the whole town. This is 72,000 visitors a year. These people will have nowhere else to go. Stocksley is a village library, and it has 4 car parking spaces. The Trust think mitigation is to tell people to get a 17 bus every half an hour from down there. People come here by car. Asda for the petrol for the vegetable centre. They do not come here by bus. They're very passionate. A lot of people still don't even know that they've left us high and dry. They think it's going to be in rain and wave, which was their original proposal. They never gave the option to people in the library, which isn't as crazy. 72,000 people visits, and they think it's nothing. It makes all the difference. A lot like you spoke to that old gentleman. He comes in here, he lost his wife last year, he's about 90-something, isn't he? And it's a lifeline. He comes, he talks to the librarians, they're so kind. And people socially interact, it's not just books. The unemployed, they need it for job searching. Children use it for homework. People don't have the internet at home. They are discriminating against all these people, and they don't give a damn. Maggie Appleton, CEO of the Trust, tells us that she's so glad that we're passionate about libraries. I told her, what's the point in being passionate if you haven't got one?
Basically, the council has washed their hands of the situation and saying it's not their problem, it's not their fault, got to blame the Tories. It's funny because the Labour government their motto has been the cuts have been too deep, too quick. Not no cuts, too deep, too quick. When the million people marched through London to Hyde Park for the anti-austerity march, Ed Balls was on BBC that morning saying just that, too deep, too quick, not no cuts. So we would still be in a similar situation as we are today, because one thing you have to realise is that there is no choice. All we have is the illusion of choice. The Labour government and the Tory government are pigs that are eating out of the same trough. The paymasters are big business, banks and corporations. The Tories are likely to believe that the unions are the ones that rule Labour, but they're not. Because the people that made the biggest contribution to Labour being in power last time was Rupert Murdoch and his media empire. So big business is the one that really rules the roost, and the rest of us are having to just play second fiddle to it. So I've accused Labour MPs and councillors in different towns of basically enforcing Tory cuts agenda to further their own gains for the next election. If you look at Labour and Tories at the minute, the next election is being fought on a battleground of Europe and immigration, and the right-wing media at the minute is quite strongly pushing that agenda in the public's interest, telling them that Romania is going to come over and crush the A&E services, the NHS, the Bulgarians are coming over. So they're playing on these the scapegoating and scaremongering of society, trying to pit us against each other. Where are Labour been on that? They haven't said anything about opposing that. You've got Benefit Street on television, people calling for them people to be killed, yet the Queen gets a bailout and no one says anything about that. So you have to look at the two parties and say that there isn't really any choice between them. And the reason why Labour don't openly oppose the cuts or refuse to enact them is because it's good for them, because they feel that it gives them a platform from which to preach for the next election. That's if they manage to ride the wave of immigration attacks that are coming from the Tories and the news. Obviously the right-wing media is pushing the agenda that Labour getting back into power will be an influx of immigration, the likes that we've never seen before. So if Labour manage to ride that storm over the next 18 months up to the next general election, then they can stand on that platform and say, look at the cuts we've had to put through because of this nasty Tory government, we will do it different. But when they get in power they won't, because they're paymasters, banks, corporations, faceless people that live in the city of corruption will continue to tell them this is how we want it played, and the people that pay for it will be us. It will be our ambulances, police, fire, hospitals, schools, libraries will continue to be cut to pay for these people in their corridors of power. I've just said earlier on to someone that the corridors of corruption are flooded with public money that's being siphoned off by privateers. And at the minute, there isn't one party prepared to actually offer a proper resistance to this. So in the meantime, we're having to foot the bill. Unless we stop pledging allegiance to people such as the Queen and start pledging allegiance to each other, nothing's going to change, and we're going to continue in this perpetual spiral of debt, scapegoating and distraction. This is We Say People, not banks.